Ukama Ubuhlobo Family Talk on the Capital Crunch. An honest look into the joys, blood, sweat and tears that shape family relations and impact society.
You're listening to Ukama Ubuhlobo Family Talk here on the Capital Crunch with me, Penny Pangetti. And being a Thursday, as I said, I'm joined in the studio by Coach Taf, who's going to help us to talk through some of the changes, some of the upheavals that happen in our lives when major changes happen. And really, these are the things that either build or break a relationship, set the tone for what is going to happen in the future of your relationship. So perhaps you've gone through something, someone has gone through an accident, someone has become disabled, and you're now trying to figure out how you deal with those changes. Why not send in your questions to Coach Taf, and hopefully we'll be able to go through all of those things. Coach, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. It's been a week already.
It has.
Oh my gosh, how are you doing, Penny?
Great, I'm great, and thank you for joining us in the studio.
My pleasure.
So today, you heard me talking about this. We're talking about major life changes.
You're talking about my life, you mean?
Right. And so I'm glad that you're here because you'll be an expert at this one.
I'll talk from experience. I don't know about being an expert, but yeah. So this is the thing. We go into all relationships with the expectation that it will go well, that we will be happy, that we'll be fulfilled with the people that we're with. So this is in romantic relationships. This is in business relationships. We always go in with a positive outlook. But of course, life is in the business of throwing us curveballs. Things change, and major things change. Not just, his hair turned white, or he now has a pot belly, which is a major change that we perhaps can talk about. But things change, and it is You keep talking about me.
Somehow, with major changes, and whether at that crossroads you can make the right decision about, that dream that you had at the beginning, whether you can continue with it, or do you, throw the tools down and just say we can't carry on. So aren't we living, Coach Taf, in a life where life is continuously throwing curveballs at us? Let's just talk about Zimbabwe. There are many things that are happening. There was a phase, kind of mid last year to the end of last year, coming into this year, where a person would have walked into work, fully employed, looking to the future, depending on an income, and then be told, we're letting you go.
Yeah.
And that's a major life change.
Absolutely.
Can we come back from something like that?
100%. You need the curveball that has been thrown to you because you're just being set up for your comeback.
Right.
Any setback is a setup for a comeback. And so you got to know it, you got to believe it, and you got to pursue it.
Yeah.
And so I have lived almost everything that you described before you introduced me.
Yeah.
Every one of those curveballs has hit me. And I actually wrote a song. I'm still standing.
Right.
And that's important.
You write songs too?
You can do anything you want.
Let's start from what don't you do? I think let's start there.
I don't sell. I don't do. No, everything else I can do, but I don't sell people. And so I'm writing a book. It's called The Freedom to Fail, and it borrows from the failures that happen to us. And sometimes that when somebody dies, it feels like it's a failure.
Yeah.
When somebody separates from you, divorces from you, it feels like a failure. If you lose your job, if you lose a deal, all these things are things that I'm trying to articulate.
Yeah.
And there's a statement that has carried me through my challenging times. In actual fact, let me change that. That has helped me through my transitional times.
Okay.
Because you're always transitioning. The amazing thing about when you've gone through whatever life throws at you, and you hit rock bottom, friend, there's no... And you've got to accept that. And I wrote this down, and I remember it has carried me for a long time.
Yeah.
When you are broken, Penny, don't break through.
Right.
And with that, I've put in quite a number of things just to help me understand it for myself firstly. And when I shared this with a couple of friends, they kept asking me, and I had to dig deeper and deeper. So the first thing is, when I say when you are broken, it's an acceptance of where you are right now. Warambwa. You have to accept that.
You articulated in a way that makes it almost sound like it's a package, right? You get to the point where this thing has happened to you and you're saying, accept it.
You know what? And you know what? You're accepting your subjective view of what has just transpired in your life.
Okay.
Not, because you need to start from somewhere. And you allow yourself to learn from there on and grow.
Yeah.
Because you have better understanding. With the passage of time, there's greater revelation and you'll have a better understanding.
Right.
But it is without a doubt that you've got to accept kutapando pawawe. That's important. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a step that you have to go through. But sometimes people say, Taf, it's difficult for me to just accept. Tanga neku acknowledge.
Right.
You may say, I don't accept it. It's fine. Don't accept it. But awunaba. Acknowledge that you have been fired. Acknowledge kutu warambuka. Accept kutu wafirwa. Accept kutu acknowledge kutu wa crippled. Whatever the curveball is that has been thrown to you. So when I say when you are broken, don't break. The first thing is to say, acknowledge that I am broken.
Right. So at that point, Baba Washika Pabasa,
right,
he's being told Basa Risisipo. My Baba, who you thought was your faithful spouse, actually has a family somewhere else. That's and right. He's now chosen that this is who he's going to live with.
That's right.
Is it okay for me to be emotional? Because the advice that we're always told in those situations as a woman is shinga, chengetedza muri yako, usamurakidze misodzi yako. For a man, it's carry on wearing that suit as if you're going to the office. Give out this image that everything is okay. Is there too much vulnerability in being emotional in that space?
I love the concept about being emotional, especially crying. I don't believe I'm saying this on national radio. I cry.
Do you cry?
I cry.
When was the last time you cried?
About 2 weeks ago. Don't ask me why. There's nothing wrong with crying. You're shaking off the pain. There's something that you're getting rid of, your system that allows you to passionately express yourself, and sometimes that is crying. So as you ask that question about emotions, if we go straight to the point, when you're broken, don't break. We're saying don't break, but express yourself. I like to say it this way. You have to do you, Penny, because without you, we won't have you.
Right.
Which means doing you means crying. Doing you means getting depressed. Because that's who you are. You've got to express who you are. And the point is, who do you express it to? You express it to yourself, to others, and definitely to the Almighty you believe in, or however you define your God. But you've got to be able to express it to somebody. But remember, the statement says, do not break. We're not doing this so that you are justifying you get into depression so that you can get into alcoholism or you get into funny behavior and so forth. No. We're basically doing you because we're acknowledging the situation that you're in.
That's important.
So when you're crying, you're not crying because you're feeling sorry for yourself, but you're acknowledging that you're in a transition. And that transition is going to allow you, is preparing you for the next level.
Yeah.
And so this is what I passionately believe in. We've got to do you. And so what is important is that you've got to know, who are you?
Yeah.
Where are your values? What is founded on your crying? So it could be the person is crying because you know that you could have done more for that organization.
Right. Okay.
You know that you have lost an income that was going to take your child through university or secondary school, whatever it is. But you see that those are good emotions.
Right.
It's different from saying, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, what are people going to say about me, I'm now an outcast. That is crying in the wrong way.
Right.
Those are emotions, those are negative emotions. And I do not subscribe to those. Love yourself. You do you by self-love.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things that I have found in my different situations is when I wake up in the morning, I believe that, I am amazing. I am brilliant. Today I shall speak to the eminent. I will not stand in the presence of obscure men. The devil is in trouble because somebody's life is going to be changed because Coach Taf is awake. Affirm yourself. That's doing. I
have to ask you though.
Yeah.
Like we often hear kind of life coaches.
Right.
I know what you call yourself. You're a life coach, a hand holder, whatever it is. we often are told, affirm yourself, speak positive truths about yourself.
Absolutely.
How practical is that?
Very.
Where someone has told me that I am worthless for the organization, the person whose life I had put, whose hands I'd put my life in, has decided that he wants to do life with someone else. My child is crippled in an accident. How valuable is it me standing in the mirror and pointing at my reflection and saying, you're going to speak to eminent men, or you're powerful more than your mind understands? Is that real?
Penny, do we have 30 minutes or 3 hours? I just want to know. Seems like we got 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you knew what was going on in my life right now, girl, you would understand that what I'm saying is true.
Okay.
It is practical. Because the reverse with the same energy is true.
Okay.
I'm useless. I am never going to make it in life. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that is attractive about me. I am the worst of the worst. People will laugh at me. I've been humiliated. It is the same energy, the same words. I am basically requesting people, instead of using the negative words, use the positive words. Because you're constantly talking to... In actual fact, let me say this. I've always said to people that the person you talk to the most is you.
Right.
You are the greatest audience of yourself. Mm-hmm. And so what is it that you're speaking to yourself? It's called self-talk. Even if you don't affirm yourself, you're still talking to yourself.
Right.
The question is, what are you saying to yourself? And when you understand that, hey, so let me get to breaking through, because I said if you are broken, don't break through.
Yeah.
Now, to break through, and I hope it answers your question. You've got to contend with your current self and be stingy with your focus.
Right.
You've got to contend with your current self and be stingy with yourself.
Right.
Now, you cannot affirm yourself unless you're contending with what is going on around you. You are wrestling with everything around you. Everything seems bleak and broken, but you're saying, you know what, I can do it. I can make it. I can go and start knocking at a door. I met this guy one time. He worked for one of our corporates a couple of years ago, for about 25 years.
Yeah.
He walks into my office and says, Coach, you know what? I've lost my job. What do I do? And I said to him, sir, I think you've got the most amazing opportunity in your life, that you can change your life and become the best that God has created you to be. Have you thought about the different options that you have? Where you can start a business, you can do mentoring, you can consult, you can do all of this. And I think in our brainstorming session, we had about 7 options that you could take.
Yeah.
He walked out of there like a dog with its tail between its legs, because he didn't believe it for himself.
Right.
And as much as options were presented to him, he could not accept it for himself. You've got to have self-belief.
Yeah.
Contending with yourself is saying, you know what? Because no matter what you do, you are not going back to have that job. I am not going to bring back my dad. I'm not going to bring back my son. I'm not going to bring back the lost monies that I've lost. The business relationships, they are gone. And so I've got to contend with that, because everything in my being is saying, Taf, you are right. This person deserves to go to somewhere. When you get to that stage, Penny, I didn't like to hear this, and now I say it, and sometimes it's like a slap in my own face. You got to forgive yourself. That's hard to do. Oh no, you've got to forgive yourself. Yeah. Forgive yourself even for the things that you haven't done. Forgive yourself for saying...
Yeah, I mean, my go-to example in the life changes that we're talking about is in the area of marriage, or is in the area of a loss of a child, or whatever. If someone's walked out on me, why am I forgiving myself?
Who's walked out?
My husband.
Who's walked out?
My husband's walked out.
I'll ask one more time. Who's walked out?
The husband.
Praise the Lord, not you, isn't it?
Yeah. So why am I forgiving?
So why are you upset with yourself? Why are you going in the mirror and checking your weight and asking yourself all these funny questions? Yeah. There's nothing that you've done. They've done it to you. Can you go home and sleep and say that there's nothing I did, or that everything that I did was within the value system that I put in myself? Okay. Can you say that? If you can, that's what I mean. Be stingy with your focus. Stop focusing on everybody else. Okay. Stop focusing on what they said to you, what other people have said to you, hey, and so forth. Let them speak. What they're doing is they're just setting you up for your next success, girl. Don't allow people to define you, because they'll always define you too small. Let me tell you about PhD. They'll pull you down because they cannot. And when you are down and You're pointing fingers at you and saying, look at her, she's a mess, she's in trouble. We knew it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, girl, I was about to preach.
If you've just joined us, you're not in church. Yeah, on the Capital Crunch with me, Pangeti, and I'm joined by Coach Taf, who is on fire.
I promise you.
And if you've got questions for him, don't hesitate to send them in. Do so on our social media platforms. That's at Capitalk FM on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on Twitter. Call us, send us a WhatsApp on 0717777777. And thank you, Baba Faye. You've sent in a message, and he says, major life changes go hand in glove with making the best decisions, especially in marriage. Some decisions may be good or bad. In life and in any union, we've got to be prepared for the eventualities of life. I believe in life events, resurrections. Whatever we do to each other, the strongest foundation is love. Love conquers everything. Unless and it's disappointments in the end. In life, we should learn to accept both either good and bad as long as we still live here on earth.
Viva Baba Faye.
Yeah.
Viva.
So he's saying...
there's only one thing that I don't agree with him.
Yeah.
Is that you don't have to prepare for eventualities. When you are in a marriage, love with every fiber of your being.
Really?
Don't even leave room for chance.
So throw caution to the wind.
Caution is not part of your vocabulary.
Right.
Just love. You're setting yourself up for failure.
Really?
In actual fact, you are. It's called. There's a concept that we talk about in coaching called the law of attraction. Mm-hmm. You are attracting that negativity in your life.
Yeah, but why do we? Okay.
Let me say this is a very important issue because and then the important thing is that remember this is the person that is left. Now it is okay. Somebody needs to listen to this. Mm-hmm. It is okay for people to have different value systems.
Right.
If you value one man, one woman marriage, that is your value system, stick to it. Mm-hmm. If your husband then changes his values and says, you know what, I would like a side something, that is his value system. It's got nothing to do with you.
Right.
Let him be, because you cannot control him. What you can control is you. Now, the pain is that you thought this was the one. Hey, the Lord is creating you another one.
Right. And we need to talk about this concept of the one. I think we need a whole other show.
Okay, so in actual fact, I read an article about this young man who was working at a hotel. And all his job was to drive people's cars into the basement. They'll come drive up to the foyer, and then he would drive the car. And each time, there's this Mercedes that he loved. Mm-hmm. And each time he would drive that car, you'd park it, and he would say, I wish. Mm-hmm. Until one day, he was so upset with himself, he says, you know what? I can't. Lord, why would you not allow me to have this kind of Mercedes-Benz? Mm-hmm. And as he closed the door, as he was walking away, he almost felt like the car responded to him. And he said, yes, you had me, even though it was for a moment.
Right.
So the problem we have with people is that we don't understand the power of a moment.
Okay.
My son, Kudakwashe, died at 110 days.
Wow.
We had him for a moment, but every chance I have, I carry him in my heart.
Yeah.
The life that you had, 2 years, 3 years, 17 years with that spouse of yours, that was your moment. Enjoy it. Cherish it. It was the best thing that happened to you in that moment.
Right.
Life is lived in moments.
In moments.
And so the one is the one in your moment.
Right. So it's, goodness me. Yeah. I don't even know if you're preaching to listeners or to... the things that you go through. So we've talked about, the husband leaving, and that one we can talk about for ages.
Please call me. We have like a 2 hour show.
Yeah, okay. So we have children,
yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You mentioned losing your son.
Right.
The moment the idea of a child comes into the scene, we are already thinking futuristically as parents, right? We're thinking this is what his life is going to be. This is the things he's going to do. He's going to achieve this. And we're putting all of our resources to ensuring that this person has the best life ever. they get to the point where they're supposed to be achieving those things, they make a mistake and it's all lost. Right? So
you said right. I'm going to say no. I want to allow you to continue because your statement already there, I'm in disagreement.
Tell us.
Because it's not all lost. Mm-hmm. They have just had another opportunity to learn in a different way. But I'll allow you to continue.
Right.
Because there, that's where, you see, life is about the way we script things. The things that we say, our perspective. I like the word perspective.
Yeah.
If you view this as if it is all lost, then it is all lost. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it and say, oh my gosh, this child has got a new opportunity to start again, then allow them to start again. But sorry, Penny, I cut it.
The question I wanted to ask you is about making the choice about the people that you allow into your space to help you deal with that situation. So we have people who speak things into our lives, perhaps thinking they're being positive and saying, you know what, or perhaps starting to point the finger at you and saying, this, what happened in your child's life is perhaps because you lacked something in the way that you raised them. Talk to us about how we choose the people that speak into our lives when these major life changes happen.
I actually don't care who you speak to, because here's the reality. Whatever choice you make, whatever choice you don't make, either way we're going to criticize you.
Okay.
So ultimately it's about you. Let people hear, let them speak what they want to say, but you've got to have a value system. Know what you stand for. I didn't raise up my child the way that I was supposed to have raised them. Who are you to tell me how I should have raised my child? And did you know how much money I had in my pocket or how much debt I had? You have no idea the kind of lifestyle that I had. And life has happened and I still remain their parent. Hey, I'm getting angry. Yes, people will say things. I love people who you know the guys I love the most. Why I want on the show? Why? Hey, I've got a reason to prove them wrong. So I actually don't care who you talk to. Just understand where you are founded. Allow different perspectives to come your way, because you're going to learn from those different perspectives. If this person says to you, you know what, it's fine. Ask yourself, what could I have done better? That's a fantastic question.
Okay.
What could I have done better? And then ask yourself, will you be able to do it better? Or how can you do it better? What is the quickest and easiest way to resolve this situation?
Yeah. So you mentioned speaking to someone who's gone through things and you gave them options, right? There's many doors that are open in front of you and you can take one. What sort of things should we have in mind when we're making that decision? So, okay, I'm going back to my old example.
Right.
Husband is left.
All right.
I've dealt with it. I'm dealing with my emotions.
Okay, husband, come back, please.
Now there's options.
Yeah.
What am I empowering myself with in order to make the right decision for that moment?
Happiness.
Right.
Your joy will carry you for all the days of your life. Penny, if you came here grumpy, depressed, this show would be a pain.
Right.
We need you happy, joyous, excited, and pursuing life with every fiber of your being. It is what you carry that we want. Because once again, I said this last week, we're created to glorify God and to edify others. And you don't edify by pulling people down, but by raising them up. And so what I'm simply saying to you is, whatever situation you're in, you've got to pursue your joy, your happiness.
Right. Coach Taf, I'm giving you 3 minutes.
Three. Okay.
To preach to the person who is still mourning the loss of a dream, right? So I fell in love with Ningi, and he was supposed to be my person for the rest of my life, and he's gone and he's married someone. There's not even an option that this person is coming back. My dream is lost. I had a dream that my son would be a sports star, but he had a car accident and he's lost his leg. I can't continue. Talk to the person who's still mourning the loss of a dream and cannot move on from that situation.
Well, hello, my name is Coach Taf, and I'm super excited for this wonderful opportunity that I can reach out to you and tell you something that is super amazing. The fact that you once dreamt is because you can dream. And now that the dream that you had has been missed, you still have another opportunity to dream again. Dreaming doesn't require anything extra but you. And here's the reality: without you, your dreams will never come to pass. Start dreaming again right now and begin to see who you can become. The amazing thing is that you've got a history, and that history is creating a foundation that will make you unshakable. You are amazing. God loves you. Go out there and become the dreamer, but beyond that, achieve your dreams.
Right. So that's an important...
Was that a good preaching?
I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it. And amazingly, coming from you, it was short. Well, I didn't expect that, but I think you make an interesting point about taking ownership of what your next step will be.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the times people find themselves in these big upheavals,
right,
and then they just let life continue without taking ownership of the fact that you can actually be happy and you have the power to make that happen.
And what I always say is that it is the simplest, easiest first step. Simplest, easiest first step. If taking a walk is going to bring you happiness, and it's the simplest, easiest as first step, go for it. Because flying to Dubai is not going to happen.
Right.
Start with the simplest, easiest first step, and then continue on that path.
Right. And I think what you just mentioned, taking the simple step, is that perhaps we think of that great big thing. We think, I will feel better if I get my chance to travel across Europe.
Well,
you'll
get there. You will get there.
I will feel better if I wear the most expensive clothes and I do this and that. But the truth is, take that simple first step. Gift has sent in a message. Okay, this is for Sekuru. Sekuru is not here today. He's asking something to do with Rora. But that's such an important point, what you talked about, that we should stop feeling powerless and stop believing the lie that we're powerless.
If you got air in your lungs and your heart is pumping, where there is life, there is hope.
Yeah.
Full stop. I'm hopeful because you've got hope. I'm hopeful because you're alive. So let's join our hope and let's pursue our dreams.